Alright, I am replacing the steering stem bearing and the bushing on the steering shaft here. I started off by removing these two screws. That's as far as I've gotten so far, but now I'm going to jack up the front end, get it off, take the tires off for access, and then the shaft is right here. And what I'm getting to is that bearing right there. As you can see, it is pushed down and it's junk. So I'll go through this step by step. Removing the tires, 17 millimeter. Next is these just below your handlebars here. There's a rubber bushing. This is what it looks like right there. And that is right there. So let's see here, get my lighting a little better here. Right there, there's a 12 millimeter on each side. All right, so after I got that loose to the point where I can replace that rubber bushing that I have to, and I can move the steering shaft, I am now going to pull the nut that holds the steering shaft in the bottom there. On this one, it's a 22 millimeter. Alright, well, nut off. I got literally the bearings just falling right out. Let me get my light a little better here. So yeah, I mean, this thing is, she's done. She's been done for a while. And now I'm going to work at getting the tie rods off from the inside, get them out of the way so I can pick the steering shaft up and out of the way. The nut on that is either a 19 or 3/4. And then I got to figure out what's holding it on the top. It is a 15 on the top, a 3/4, or a 19 on the bottom. Alright, so with the tie rods disconnected here, I am going to, I have the bolt off of that. And I'm going to see if this lifts out nice and easy. It's not quite as nice as I want it to. I probably have to unbolt a little more of the, I was hoping to only take that off so far and swing. Well, to get this up and out of the way far enough, you got to take off the handlebars. There's just too much stuff connected to it to pull it up and far enough out of the way. All the brake lines and all the electrical lines and stuff like that. So here we go. Now that I got the handlebars off, I was able to pull this up and out far enough to get in here, because otherwise the shaft was sitting way too close. And right down in there, let's see here if I can see it. Let's see here. I can't really get a good look on it. Right in there is a snap ring. Let's see. All right, boom, better. Snap ring right there. Comes out from the top. You're gonna need either angled like this or the complete 90. I also have the, let's see, the inner part of the race stuck on the shaft. And I'm either just going to heat it up with a blowtorch and see if it slides off, or I'm going to cut into it with the grinder very nicely and then spread it with like a chisel or something. Alright, so I got the, that's where the bearing seats down into. I ended up having to knock it up from the bottom. Obviously, it has to push up and out. And you know, that was just stuck in there. And I took a blowtorch and I heated up the outside part here. I heated up the outside part down here. And then since there's not much of a lip, I took this bolt here, which has a nice lip and edge there, and I had set that where it was inside here and it was on the lip of where the bearings used to ride, and I held it enough of an angle to where when I smacked it with the hammer it didn't just slide out and not grip the bearing and start to get it out. I mean, it took some good hits. I heated it up. I also put a little bit of a PB on it, and then 1 or 2 good hits the one way, and it started to go. So that's where I'm at. I'm just cleaning up stuff, cleaning out in there, and then I'm gonna try to figure out, either I'm gonna try to tap that bearing in, or I'm gonna see if I have to put together some kind of insertion tool, a bolt with a socket and some washers or something. All right, so let's see here. Right here, I have the old race, or whatever the fuck it's called, the outside of the bearing. I got a washer, I got a little spacer, and then on the bottom, I just have a large enough washer to go over the hole, and I am literally putting a hand on I'm just hand tightening it with a socket in my hand. It is starting to suck it in. I did put a little grease on it. We'll see how it goes. All right, bearing sucked in there nice. I ended up taking this off. I didn't want to push that in there too far and then have a hard time getting it out. So I went and got a washer that was the same size as the lip on the bearing, and was able to grip that and push it down and seat the bearing in there. All right, dust seals are pressed in. That one I tapped in with a hammer. The top one I pressed in the same way I pressed in the bearing. And from here, it's just a reverse what you did. Steering shaft down and in. You got a spacer to put on the bottom. Nut. Handlebars back together. Bushing. Maybe I'll tape it. Maybe I won't. We'll see.